Good.
Okay, so this is Krista Williams. We're going to do a Foley insertion on a female patient. So first we're going to start with having our Foley kit, our sterile Foley kit. Once again, this is going to be my lovely urethra today as this soda bottle because, well, I got it home. Be doing this on. So first we're going to start with our kit, and it comes in a big plastic bag, but I took it out of the plastic bag. But first we're going to do 12 sterile procedures and open away from me first, the next side, and then closest to me. Once again, only touching the 1 inch outside perimeter, which is the non-sterile part of the sterile field. Okay. I would make sure I'm verifying with the provider's orders that they want this Foley catheter on this patient. I would be making sure that the patient is not allergic to latex, shellfish, chlorhexidine, or iodine. My pretend soda bottle here is obviously not allergic to anything, so they're going to be okay. I would provide privacy, make sure that is the utmost thing during a procedure like this, where you are in a patient's private and intimate space. So curtains, doors, making sure drapes are done on a patient is the number one thing. So, sorry. So we did all that, and I'm going to wash my hands, perform hand hygiene. I'm going to inform the patient that what we're going to do, and I'm going to talk to the patient while I'm doing it, making sure I'm informing them of all my steps. I would raise the bed up to my hip level so it's easier for me to access what I'm supposed to be doing. I would make sure that once I uncovered the patient, I would make sure that there's no bladder distension, any perineal redness, rashes, skin breakdown, sores, or anything of that. I would see if I needed to clean any of the perineal or private areas before I even did any sterilization. So I would position the patient in a supine position. This is a female, so I'm gonna have her legs up and folded with like her knees bent. So I would move her ankles to the sides and have her knees drop a little bit. So I would lower the side rail on the side of the bed where I was working at. Maybe place a pad or bath sheet or anything underneath the patient, just in case. So I removed the sterile thing from its bag. I opened it away, doing sterile procedures. I'm going to don my sterile gloves. Once again, these aren't real sterile gloves. The sterile gloves do not fit me, so we're gonna use regular ones, but we're pretending that they're sterile. So I would just touch the outside because everything below your wrist is considered non-sterile. So I could touch I have a little malfunction here, so I'm gonna touch this, but normally you would not touch this.
Dang.
Sorry, okay. So I would don my sterile gloves, just touching the wrist. My fingers are a little sweaty, so apologize for my non-sterile technique that's going on. Okay. So once again, well, this one I would be in the thing, they're usually cuffed over so you can kind of push on this way. But complications with this. And sweaty hands. Okay. So after I put these gloves on eventually, I would make sure that I know that one of my hands is going to stay sterile throughout the entire procedure, because for this patient being a female patient, you will have to move the labia away from their urethra. So I would use my non-dominant hand for that and keep my dominant hand for all the other procedures. But right now we're going to check this. So I would place this drape, sterile drape, on the bed in between the patient's legs, which we're just gonna fold that up right now, room. And then this drape I would place around the patient. So her labia and her urethra and her vagina would all be exposed through this spot right here, and I'd be placing on her. So providing privacy for the area around and a little sterile workspace around it. So next we are going to, this is the little povidone iodine solution in which we will place on the cotton balls for sterilization of the area. We're gonna move that tray right now. And here's our catheter with its little sheath that's going on there. So first thing I'm going to do is open this and put it on 2 of the cotton balls. Ooh, gosh. We're gonna soak that in there. Okay. Gross. Okay. It's gonna stay right there. That gets everywhere. Okay. So, while that's soaking, we're going to fill the, we're going to test the balloon inside the catheter. And I do believe it is this one that we are, yeah, this is the port that we're going to be filling with. And here is our sterile water, our 10 milliliters of sterile water that is going to be checking the balloon. So we're going to take off the cap here. We're going to place it in the port. And we're going to keep this sheathing on because we don't want it to possibly get unsterilized and coming off the sterile field. So we're going to slowly push in there, and you can see the balloon is filling with the sterile solution. As of right now, I'm not seeing any leaks or anything in there. Okay, the full 10 is in there. And then we're going to slowly let it release back into the syringe right there, because I didn't see any leaks or anything of that sort. Thing looks like it's working the way it should. I'm going to keep this attached so that when we have to refill it later, when it is inserted, it's already there. I don't have to worry about moving it back and forth. So that's going to deflate and continue to go back in the syringe. So once again, I'm going to use this as my unsterilized hand as soon as I touch the patient, and this is going to stay my sterilized hand. Shoot. Okay. Ignore my hand right now. Okay. So again, this is going to be my patient. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to use one of the cotton swabs that have the iodine, povidone iodine on it. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to, because it's a female patient especially, you're gonna start from the top and go down. So I would clean like this with the iodine, or not do it twice, but just do it once, throw it away. Grab another one, do it once, cleaning, throw it away. Discard that. Okay, so she's sterilized now, and it probably would be more red than this. She's now sterilized. Okay, so this has finished draining back in here. We're going to place the lube in the tray. I'm gonna pretend to do that. I don't want to get that everywhere like I already did. So we place the lube in this tray, but I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna get it everywhere. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, that was my son crying on his baby monitor. Okay, so we're going to, so we would place the lube in this so that we would then now remove this sheath off of here. I'm once again going to keep this just in case we need this in class. I would remove this plastic sheath off. I would place the tubing that's in there in the lube, making sure all of that is nicely coated. I would then place this in the patient, which like I said, we're going to use all of it just in case we need it in class, if we ever get back to class. Place this in the patient as far as possible to make sure I'm getting it in the bladder. It's probably about there would be good. I would fill the balloon again. So I would place all this 10 centimeters back in there. I'm gonna pull that out a little bit so I don't pop anything. Would fill this up. And then I would take this off of here. I'm gonna leave it because I'm gonna let it refill. And then I would pull this back out a little bit, and then I would attach it to the patient's thigh so that then once it won't be moving when it comes out. And then you would attach the cath bag to the bottom of the bed, a not movable portion so it doesn't get ruptured. And that is where the urine would sit once it's all done. I would throw away all my things, throw away my sterile gloves, and then make sure everything's good. And that's the end.